All right, I think we are live. Let me go ahead and bring up screen share. Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing well. And we are going to be recapping the Sister Wives Season 14, Episode 6 tonight. I decided to hold off on recapping it last week, like I said I was going to do, just in case the people who weren't able to view episode 6 early, I figured we'd go ahead and do it tonight. I am running a little bit behind. Usually I do it at 8 o'clock, but Mondays are a long day for me. um, this episode is called An Awkward Valentine's Day. And I want to add in a small disclaimer, like I always do with these, is yes, I know someone in polygamy. I am no longer associated with them. It's too much drama surrounding that person, and I do not want the drama. So, therefore, I will not speak on that person. Now to recapping the Sister Wives Season 14, Episode 6, titled An Awkward Valentine's Day. Okay, so it starts off in Janelle's house with Cody setting up the TV and laptop to discuss the one house idea. Now, for anybody who has not seen this one house idea, I do apologize that it's blurry, but once you blow it up so big, it kind of distorts it. But that's the one house idea that they've been talking about. And here is a better view of it. This is what the front looks like on the bottom, and then that's the main part of the house where before it separates off into four smaller homes. This is the main entrance. But anyways, Robin made a point about watching Cody and another wife leave for a date, and Cody says that they are just worried about monitoring him and then wondering if he is with another woman. Hey, bargain. Yeah, it is a nice house. But they even said that this big part here is not going to be big enough for all their kids. That Janelle likes the idea, but she does, or Mary likes the idea, but she thinks that the main part is supposed to be a little bit bigger. And the part you can't see behind all this is an extra kitchen to where it's like a common area of the house where all the kids can get, food, snacks, and this is where they would have their meetings. And Cody starts off by saying a lot has changed in the last 2 weeks. Robin and Mary's house has finally been put on the market, and Robin received an offer for hers already within the first 2 weeks. Janelle stepped down from being a realtor as well, which is a good idea because she doesn't have a good record of selling homes. And when you mix family with selling homes, and well, family with any business, I don't think is a good idea. But they said it was too much on her, and the new realtor agreed with Janelle that the economy wasn't so great and that the price cuts seemed reasonable. Robin went on to say after the offer was given, they countered and the buyer accepted their counter offer and they are closing and it should be done within the next month, which, that was like a year ago. Like I said in my previous video, that they this is about a year ago, considering because this wasn't this past Christmas because after, they had to film it and edit it and whatnot. So it's probably the year prior. So this isn't, this was past the Valentine's Day that we're speaking on today. And Christine is happy for Robin, but she does seem a little bit jealous of her being able to sell her house so soon because Christine's house has been on the market for 6 months prior to Robin putting her house up. But I do believe each house has a different layout. And Christine says that the oldest kids love the one house idea because they all will be together, and that the older kids feel as if the family is broken right now due to everybody living so far apart. But as far as her younger kids want nothing to do with the one house idea and that they liked how it was in Las Vegas, which I mean is the best setup if you really think about it. Oh, and they're still jealous of Robin, and Robin, I think, plays a big part into what Cody says. And there's a part on this episode where I think Cody or Robin did get into Cody's head just a tad bit. Plus, the wives were a little upset about the idea of having one entrance, but Cody said that the county won't doesn't want multi-family houses being built, like as in they can't have their own separate entrance. It's either gotta be one home or multiple homes. But taking out of consideration that, this is an episode filmed almost a year ago, that land at Coyotes Pass does have permits to build 4 separate homes. And there's also a tweet out there of Cody saying that he liked the idea of the Las Vegas cul-de-sac, and that's what they're planning on. But so to me, it's very hard to think of the show as being real anymore because do they really, have this idea, or was this a plot for the show? That's that's to be questioned. And Janelle doesn't understand why the other wives are making a big deal out of this whole one house idea because she likes it and she feels like one home equals one family. And that she's the only one that liked the whole idea when they lived in Lehigh, Utah. Then this is where it gets really weird. Cody says we decided we are a family, but the day you decide you don't want to be a part of the family, you got to be able to sell an asset, be able to sell that part of the house so the other wife can move on. And I feel like this is where Robin had a little bit of play into it because she knows that Christine isn't big on this idea and she's not going to go for this idea at all. And this is where Robin also says that everyone has a right to leave, even Cody. But then when the wives seemed shocked when he said about selling off their part of the house, he's like, "Well, it's reality." And he was like, "Well, what if I die? You can't bring another man into the house, so you're gonna have to want to sell your part of the house." And it gets really weird. Right, that's been my theory bargain too. Well, my thoughts on it. They all started in one house, otherwise to me separate houses seem like they cheat going house to house supposed to be about being one big family. That's what I think too, is that the whole concept of polygamy is to be one family. If going to different houses, it's just like he cheats on one wife to the next, and they're okay with it. That's what it seems like to me too. And I'm going to be doing a video right after this one, talking about an interview that Cody has done, and he goes into Jeff or Warren Jeffs, I think, the guy who's now in jail, and about how his views are different from Warren's. And I stuck it out to listen to it, but I'm not into the whole religious thing, so it was kind of hard for me to listen to it all. But I do have some, and that's not the only thing he discussed either. And I'm going to go into that on my next video. But I do believe that polygamy is supposed to be one family. And I do agree with Janelle that this is the life that you decided you want. If you don't want this life anymore, they're more or less, he can go to each house and the other wife is like out of sight, out of mind. They won't think about him having relations with the next one. And Robin is on the fence about this whole one house idea because when the show started, they were living in Lehigh, but he was also just courting Robin. They were just dating, and she hasn't lived all in one house, so she's on the fence whether it'd be a good idea or a bad idea. She's heard from the other wives all the cons to it, but she also has heard the pros to it. So she's not for sure on what she wants to do. And during the Christine's separate interview, she had cried during it and explains that she doesn't want it and she's not open to it. And they leave it at that with the one house idea, and Cody tells them to pray about it and to keep an open mind. Well, Robin said that she's going to pray about it because she doesn't know what she's going to do, and Cody wants everybody to keep an open mind. Fast forward to the section where they're talking about next week's episode. It doesn't seem like none of them have an open mind, and Cody's pretty pissed about it. Then they roll into Valentine's Day. Let's see if no, I don't have one for that. Then they roll into Valentine's Day, and they made a tradition of getting together on Valentine's Day and doing fondue, and so that's the way no wife is feeling left out. Yeah, and I think Mary doesn't want to open up either in regards to her and Cody aren't living together at all. Like, he does not spend nights at her house. They go on dates occasionally. And gosh, where did I see that at? I can't remember where I seen that at, but they go the last episode where they go on dates occasionally, but they're not technically together. And with this tradition of the fondue, it was brought in by Robin because before Robin, they said it was just an awkward Valentine's Day that they just didn't celebrate it, act like it didn't exist, and that they feel like Valentine's Day is a monogamous thing, which to each their own. But I mean, you chose anything that they have an issue with on, rather it be the house, Valentine's Day, Christmas, living, in one house to the next. They all decided to live this life. So if they feel like Valentine's Day, ruins affection or the love from it, that's their own doing. But Cody gives each of the wives flowers and gift bags to each child. And Janelle mentions, well, oh, if you thought being monogamous was expensive for Valentine's Day, think about how it is for a polygamist. Again, that was your decision. And Cody says that he thinks plural marriage kills romance. And Robin responds by saying, it can if you let it. And again, keep on saying this. You got yourself into this situation. So, to each their own, but you can't say that and expect anybody to sympathize for you because you chose that lifestyle. But then Robin goes to Cody and says, thank you for the flowers, leans in, hugs Cody, and gives him a kiss. And Robin, in her interview, says that Cody, Janelle, Mary, and Robin established there will be no affection shown in front of each other. Like, when we're all together, we don't show affection to Cody because of another wife getting jealous. But Robin says that Cody wants to be more affectionate. Cody doesn't say that. Robin says that. And she doesn't know why she did it in front of everyone, but she said her husband gave her flowers and she wanted to say thank you. She wasn't going to make a big deal out of it, but she thinks that everyone should be allowed to do it. Then it pops into an interview with all of them, and everyone raises their hand and wanting the affection thing to change. And Cody then says he challenges Christine on that. Yeah, it was earlier. It was mean like to no affection towards any of the wives, and I guess a lot changed when Robin was around, and Christine said, and this is where I think it's very selfish of Christine, because okay, they all agree to have affection, like, a hug here, a kiss there, but Robin says that she's only okay with it on a good day. Like, if she feels secure in her marriage, she doesn't mind the other wives, giving him hugs and kisses. But on the days that she's, I guess, bipolar and doesn't feel like her marriage is secure, then she doesn't want it. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's got to be one way or the no way. Like, you can either all give them affection or none of y'all. But to me personally, I don't think, well, I had this issue before of um, polygamy. I don't agree with it at all. That's why issues with me kind of went the opposite direction. But you can't you can't say you cannot sit there and say when he gives another wife a kiss or a hug that you're gonna sit there and be like, pick apart that hug and kiss and be like, oh well, he never kissed to me like that. Or I just think you shouldn't show affection and y'all should just go about your merry ways. But then again, it's polygamy, to each their own. And then moving on to Cody's birthday at Robin's house, Christine says that Christine had made shirts. Well, let me back that up. Well, for Christmas, Christine made those pillows for Cody because he feels like he doesn't have an actual home because he didn't marry any wives from his hometown, which I think is ridiculous to not think that you have a home. But I think he doesn't think he has a home because he's got to bounce back wife to wife. But she made him pillows saying home is where the wives are. Well, she thought it would be a cute idea. She must have had a good day, but she thought it was a cute idea to make shirts to say that. So they all changed into the shirts and presented Cody as, you know, home is where the wife is. Then it goes on to Mary speaking about how she misses Mariah, her oldest child, being there. She wishes she could be there, but Mariah ended up surprising everyone and showing up a little bit later with her girlfriend. And yes, Mariah is in a same sex relationship, and the whole family is okay with it. They kind of go into details about, when she first came out, and it's not, their church doesn't allow stuff like that, but they've gone against the church and they allow it and whatnot. And I will show you a picture of that. Mariah is the one on bended knee on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand sided picture, Mariah is the one on the right as well. So both pictures, she's the one on the right. Or no, I'm sorry. On the picture on the left, Mariah is the one on bended knee, and then on the right picture, Mariah is on the left-hand side. And Cody goes on with his birthday. He goes on and opening gifts and presents and reading cards. And one of the cards were signed from your adoring family. And Mariah responds by saying, "Oh, you are. Oh, I thought you said our growing family." Cody then says, "Oh, so do you want it to grow?" Mariah then says, "I do, actually, by one." Then she shows that she proposed to Audrey, who is her girlfriend, now of 2 years. Hugs were exchanged, and Mariah said that she proposed at the Women's March, and that's where they had actually met in the first place, and that's what the picture on the left shows of her proposing at the Women's March for equal rights. And that Mariah and Audrey plan on having a long engagement and plan to get married in 3 years. Cody is like, no, 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 wait, 3 years? Why wait so long? If you love each other, you should get married as soon as possible. And his reasoning, well, just like his reasoning for polygamy, but his reasoning was very childish. Hers was, well, I'm still in school. I did an extended, she's getting another degree and she wants to wait till then. She wants to enjoy uh, the long engagement, and then eventually they want to start planning in the next year or two. Cody said that's too long. Then it comes to a scene where Maddie, who is Janelle and Cody's daughter, she's the one that already um has a son named Axel, and then eventually got pregnant, which we seen the announcement on the Christmas episode where she announces she's pregnant with a daughter. And for the most part, the daughter is healthy, but she did have some complications as far as there is some issues with her daughter, but nothing that I would think that would stop her from leading a productive life, if you get my drift. I don't want to get too much into detail with that because, it's not for us to judge, and I don't like talking about kids too much on here. And the only reason why I'm showing them on the screen is because, of course, they're of age. But Maddie said that her and her little family of Caleb and her son and now her daughter are planning for moving from Vegas to North Carolina because Maddie's husband Caleb got a job offer in North Carolina and he had to start right away. So Maddie ended up doing all the packing, and in between trying to move and whatnot, she's decided to live with Janelle, or was it Janelle or Robin? Well, she's deciding to live in Flagstaff for a couple weeks to a month, and then I guess, to see them, and then she's going to end up moving to North Carolina. Cody and Janelle say they enjoy these get-togethers because they're few and far in between, less than in Las Vegas, but even less than when they lived in one home in Lehigh, in which that's why Janelle and Cody love the whole one home idea, because it would mean they get together more often, and that they agree that they feel like a broken home. Then that was where it ended, and then they showed what's to come for the next episode, where Cody does the why and why not board, and the tensions are high. And Cody thinks that his wives lied to him about trying to have an open mind. We already knew Christine didn't have an open mind. Janelle wants this one house, and then Mary's somewhere in between. Right? I think that Mariah was being smart on the, waiting, because of course you want to graduate, and you think you would want a career, and then build from there where you can afford to have a wedding. I think it's I don't know. This next video that I'm gonna do, it goes into detail of the financial problems that Cody and his wives had way back when, and how they got to where they're at now. So I'm gonna go into detail more about that. I think, and now it's like, and that's just what happened in this past episode. And like I was saying earlier, I honestly feel like it started off the show at the very beginning, season 1, of showing what it is to live like a polygamist, and giving people insight about polygamy, to let's create a storyline, because like the My Five Wives with Brady and them, they go into detail of each relationship. This is just one basic idea. And for the last 6 episodes, all they've talked about is this one house idea, in which we now know that that's not going to happen because there's a permit for 4 houses on that property. But I honestly, in my opinion, I don't feel like it was ever a doubt of the whole cul-de-sac thing, because Cody's done said he loved the cul-de-sac in a tweet, and I'm sure they knew that couple wives wouldn't go for it. So I think this was just a plot for the TV show. I think there's more in-depth crap that goes on in this household that we don't know about. Just like with this all being filmed a year ago, and Mary's Instagram, where she's saying that she's open to finding love and whatnot. That doesn't have nothing to do with business. I think once the show is up, the gig is over, Mary plans on leaving. I think she tried to leave prior when she tried to, talk to somebody and got catfished. I think she's ready to leave. And thank you, Voodoo. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm interested in what's going to happen once the show is over. I think right now it's about money. And I do think that Cody and Robin will stick together because it's just like fresh. Mm, I hate to put anybody as fresh meat, but it's like she's the newest, and I think he has the most connection with Robin, and that's not, I guess, falling out of love with the rest because Janelle is just a great business partner, and it resorts back to this whole another video I'm doing to where he, talks about Janelle being career driven, and I think that he classifies Christine as being fun, but I think it was fun he classified her as being. But I think she can be fun, but I see her as the nagging wife, like she's the nagger. That is, like nagging. That's what I meant. Nagging. She nags. But she's the nagging wife, and then Mary, she's already done checked out. You know what I mean? But that's the way I think of it as is Christine, nagging, Robin, his number one choice. Janelle, she's just a good business partner. And Mary, she done checked out, and so did he, because I think even if you're trying to work on a marriage, you would still take those nights and spend it with her, or, go more out than on a date. He could, because Mary even says that he's not progressing like she wants him to. So I feel like he's done checked out too. So that's where I think as far as that. And it seems like Robin makes all the choices as far as wanting more affection, the fondue tradition, Christmas morning is always at Robin's. And I feel like Cody and Robin talk behind the scenes to the whole Robin talking about, well, if they don't want to go with your idea, Cody, then they can exit and tell them we'll buy their shares of the house, or we'll take their house and whatnot and give them money and they can go where they want. Because everybody has a right to leave, even you, Cody. I feel like that's Robin behind the scenes. And I think that um she gives Cody a big ego boost, and I think that's what he likes. So I think that's the direction it's going in. Yeah, he does put Robin first, and I don't blame Mary either. And I cannot blame Mary for wanting to exit. I couldn't blame any of them if they wanted to exit out of polygamy, because I don't agree with the lifestyle, but to each their own. But if that lifestyle isn't for you anymore, you have the right to leave. That goes for anybody being married. Robin's just with Cody for the money and to raise her kids. Yup. Yeah, she was. She was in a good space um when she met Cody, because she even says that she was in a previous marriage that she didn't know how to get out of, and I guess she wants that exit of, "Here, buy my house so I can get out," but she's referring to the other wives now, and I think that's what's going on. And I also and this is a big thing with Mary too, or why I think she checked out. With being in polygamy, you can only legally be married to one person. Mary and Cody were their Mary was his first wife, and they were married first, so their marriage was actually legal. And Robin had a few kids from a previous relationship, and she wanted Cody to be able to adopt them. And the only way that they were able to adopt them kids is if he legally divorced Mary and got married to Robin, which I know that Robin probably understands why he had to divorce her and to adopt Robin's older children, but I also think she harbors a little bit of resentment, and hard feelings about having to divorce her husband of over 20 some years so he could marry a new woman that she actually introduced them or said to Cody, I think that you should start talking to Robin, because she was all for the polygamy, and she even wanted Cody to start talking to Robin. He admitted that in this interview, but I think she holds a little bit of resentment because of having to do that, because now she's not legally binded to him anymore. Oh, for sure. She's definitely better off financially. And I don't agree with the whole LuLaRoe. I've had a couple pair of leggings from LuLaRoe, and the price that you pay for them leggings, they are not worth it at all. But I mean, good on her. She can make an actual business out of it. I guess you would have to have a hell of you know, a heck of a following to be able to sell that much. But more power to her. She can do that. And I think she also has that that where she converted, I think, her grandmother or great grandmother's house into like a bed and breakfast. She also has that. Yeah, it makes me sick too, Voodoo. And for us as the viewers who sit here and watch it to notice that, I couldn't imagine how, you know, Christine or well, she's just going with the flow. But I couldn't imagine how Mary, Christine, and Janelle feel if we can even see that. Because he's even mentioned, "You get the short end of the stick, Robin." And she's like, I know, but I don't want to be a part of it." No, that's probably something you told Cody, and Cody's referring the message because he says that he doesn't go from house to house explaining what goes on in the other marriages, but I guarantee you he lets it all loose with Mary, like or Robin. He'll go behind closed doors with Robin and say that. I just think that I mean, to each their own with when it comes to relationships, because I even have a friend of mine who isn't a polygamist or anything like that, but he's married to one woman, but he's allowed to step out, and she gives him permission to step out for other crap. And I would never in a million years agree to that. And to me, if you can't fulfill all your needs by one woman, I you shouldn't be with that person. Good night, Bargain. I'm getting ready to get off here in a few as well. You're right, Voodoo. I would watch Mary. Life After Polygamy with Mary Brown. I really think that she holds resentment for having to get a divorce so he could adopt Robin's kids. But yeah, that's what happened on season 14, episode 6, An Awkward Valentine's Day. And I got quite a few opinions, and I can't wait to see next week's episode and see where this whole one house and see them explode. I'm just ready to get over this whole one house idea because I think this is just the whole plot for the whole season, and it's becoming redundant, and I'm tired of seeing it. But yeah, that's all I have for this evening. And make sure that if you want to start live chatting or if you want to join us in the chat, as well as know new stories that come up with the sister wives, or I do a lot of the teen mom crap because it seems like their crap never ends. Make sure you subscribe below. Subscribe below. Subscribe. What am I saying? Yeah, he should have honored that regardless of Robin. You know, if you're married to the other wives with your heart, in your heart, you're married to them, but not legally, well, in your heart, you're also those kids' dad. So why not just stay married to marry? But who knows? You have a good night, Voodoo. But yeah, if you want to join us sometime, and I might go live a couple days a week, who knows? But I know Monday is like a permanent thing. And it's usually 8 o'clock Eastern time, but no later than 9:30 Eastern. So yeah, make sure you hit that like button for me too. I would greatly appreciate it. And remember, it's always better to be on the outside of the drama looking in. Take care, and I will talk to you all later. Stay safe. Bye.